Today, we're going to crack open one of the most talked about pieces of tech on the entire planet and find out what's really going on under the hood. Look, you've probably used it, right? And maybe you've been totally amazed by it. You type something in, and poof, a smart, coherent, sometimes even brilliant answer just appears. It feels like magic. But what's actually happening in that little moment between you hitting enter and the response showing up? I mean, this thing is a technical beast. It can spit out complex computer code in languages that take humans years to master, and it does it in seconds. But it's not just for programmers, it's also a poet. It can whip up a pretty convincing Shakespearean sonnet about, well, pretty much anything you can think of. And it can see. You can show it a photo of the random stuff in your fridge, and it won't just tell you what you have, it'll suggest a recipe you can make with it. On top of all that, it's smart enough to pass exams that most of us would definitely sweat over. So how in the world does one tool do all of this? Well, the first thing to get is that ChatGPT isn't just one thing. It's really become the ultimate AI multi-tool. The best way to think about it is like this. ChatGPT is just the simple, friendly interface, the wrapper, that connects you to a whole bunch of different, super powerful AI models in the background. It's smart enough to figure out which tool is the right one for your job, whether that's writing text, creating an image, or searching the web. Now, if we really want to understand the engine that makes it all run, we need to decode its name. The secret is hiding in plain sight, right in the acronym itself, GPT. Every one of these letters tells us a crucial part of the story. G stands for generative, P is for pre-trained, and T is for transformer. Let's break them down one by one, and we'll start with G. Generative just means it creates new stuff. The model isn't just looking up answers in some giant database. It's literally predicting the most probable next word, and then the next and the one after that, to build a totally original response from scratch. It's just a superpowered version of that finish the sentence game. Okay, so how did it get so good at predicting words? That's where the P for pre-trained comes in. The old way of doing AI was slow. Humans had to carefully label every single piece of data. It was expensive and took forever. GPT models, they did something way different. They were basically given a library card to the whole internet and told, go read everything. Through this unsupervised process, they taught themselves all the patterns, the grammar, the facts, and the weird nuances of how we humans talk. And that brings us to the T. And honestly, this might be the most important part of all. Transformer. This is the revolutionary piece of architecture that powers pretty much all of modern AI. It's a total game changer. So here's why it's such a big deal. Older AI models, these things called RNNs, they would read text one word at a time, left to right, just kind of plodding along. The problem is, in a long paragraph, they'd often forget what the beginning was about by the time they got to the end. But transformers, they see the entire sentence, the whole thing, at the same time. They use this incredible mechanism called self-attention to instantly map out how every single word relates to every other word. That's how it understands context so well. It's the secret sauce. But to do that self-attention magic, the AI has to break our language down into pieces it can actually work with. See, it doesn't really see words, it sees tokens. These are the fundamental building blocks. Sometimes a token is a whole word, like house. Other times it's just a piece of a word, like ing. Everything you type gets converted into these little chunks. And the scale we're talking about here is just mind-boggling. The original GPT-3 model was pre-trained on roughly 500 times billion of these tokens. That's an unimaginable amount of text from books, articles, and websites, a huge slice of everything humans have ever written down and put online. So the model has digested this massive chunk of the internet. It's learned the patterns of language. But there's a problem. The internet is, well, it's the internet. It's messy. A raw, pre-trained model is not something you can just safely release to the public. And that's where a really crucial refinement process comes in. Exactly. As the source material says, can you imagine the horrors? An AI trained on the unfiltered web would be spouting all sorts of nonsense, misinformation, and just plain awful stuff. So it's key to remember that pre-training is only phase 1. This brings us to phase 2, fine-tuning. This uses a technique called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF. Think of it this way. Human trainers act like coaches for the AI. They'll ask it a question, and the AI will generate a few different answers. The humans then rank those answers from best to worst. By doing this over and over and over, they're constantly giving the AI feedback, teaching it what a good answer looks like. This is what fine-tunes it to be helpful, harmless, and aligned with what we actually want. So let's just sum that up, because it's so important. Phase 1, pre-training. That's where the AI learns the raw rules of language all by itself. Phase 2, fine-tuning. That's where humans come in and teach it how to be useful and safe. You absolutely need both of those steps to get the ChatGPT we use today. And when you put all that technology together, the generative, pre-trained transformer, refined by all that human feedback, you end up with something that is way, way more than just a simple chatbot. That powerful architecture means it can be multimodal. It's not just text anymore. It can understand and generate images and audio, too. Its huge knowledge base allows it to do advanced reasoning using a process called chain of thought to solve tough problems step by step. And now it's extensible. It can connect to the live web and other apps, making it less of a chatbot and more of a genuine platform. So we went from what's basically a sentence finishing game to this complex reasoning engine that's evolving at an incredible speed. It has a deep, contextual understanding of human language and even visual information. So I guess the question we're all left with is, what's next? What will this technology master tomorrow?